Good morning and welcome to another Partner Focus Day. Very pleased to be joined by Zach Lowe from Rosum, who we had the pleasure of meeting for the first time actually at the House of Lords event. I met loads of people on that day. I actually confessed at the start of the session that I was like, oh, you said, yeah, we met. I forgot. It's just me being me. But listen, really pleased to have you guys on board. You guys have been supporters of ours for a couple of years now. I know you work with a number of our partners. Rosum is everywhere, and it's the biggest company you've never heard of. But for the benefit of all of those people who maybe don't know who you are, Zach, would you please introduce Rosum and what you do and how you do it, please?
Sure, and thanks, Mike, and thanks for inviting me on. My role, Senior Vice President of Global Sales here at Rosum. Rosum is a market-leading transactional document automation platform. We sit within the IDP space, but focusing on transactional documents. We've been around for 7 years. We've been started as the first template-free AI-based IDP solution. In the last 7 years, we've seen significant growth, growing both globally, but also across different partner variances, working with different back-end ERP systems, certifying across the likes of the SAPs and the Coopers of the world.
It's, as we know, it's quite a fast-paced industry now. The changes and you guys being at the forefront of, and we're going to talk in a minute about some of the emerging technologies and the real value that brings, but in the short time that I've been involved in the industry, I came into the APA actually in this capacity in 2019. And I'm having a hard time keeping up with what's going on, to be honest. But you've got some very unique, well, I wouldn't say unique claims, but you've done some very impressive things with AI, haven't you? Would you like to speak into that and the Aurora product you've developed?
Yeah, thanks. And we'd like to say that we pioneered AI in the space. We started as an AI and cloud native platform. So we were born right in the kind of midst of the AI boom. Rosum Aurora is our latest AI launch, built off the back of our transactional large language model. It's really focused on, again, just truly improving the customer experience for AP teams specifically, really focused on automating the manual tasks of the day-to-day AP worker. So things like data entry, validation, invoice routing, approvals and workflows. It's focused on improving accuracy, reducing errors, boosting efficiency, productivity. So really key focuses for how do we maximize the efficiency of an AP team to ensure that they focus on doing the most important tasks and allowing AI to really dig in and support on the kind of the more day-to-day and menial tasks that tend to take up the majority of the time of the AP team.
I mean, it's massive, isn't it? I mean, there's in some of our member companies, the workload is truly staggering in terms of the amount they have to do every week, day, month, on a perpetual cycle of just, month end to month end and all that goes with it. You'll have heard some of the issues we unpacked at the House of Lords together. Big issues for our community exist around, again, moving away from having to do a lot of the heavy lifting, but also the fraud element is so stressful when fraud instances occur. And I'm guessing having the tools and controls in place would protect an AP manager and their teams from fraud. How does AI actually do? It's like a black box. How does it do what it does? Do you know?
Yeah, and I think everybody that watches this and everybody that's ever looked at AI, generally across the kind of general population, people think of AI as AI, right? It's whether it is or isn't. AI is a singular thing. I think what we really focus on is we've developed our own AI over the last 7 years, and it's proprietary technology, and it's been built off the back of hundreds of millions of documents that we processed over that 7 years to build up an AI technology brain that understands transactional documents better than anything in the world. So what that allows us to do is really look back at all of the nuances, all of the information that we've gathered to be able to identify challenges, risks, errors that are prone, that can often slip through the net when it comes to fraudulent activity. I think there's kind of three different types of fraud, right? You get over invoicing, under invoicing. You get kind of internal fraud, which is where people are kind of maybe trying to screw the books. And we spoke a lot about that when we were at the AP event. And then you get external fraud as well, which is companies that are completely fraudulent. Maybe they're pretending to be somebody they're not, and pretending to kind of want to really drive to the AP department to try and steal money, right, at the end of the day. Rosum's historical and current AI really looks at all three of those factors to really try and understand, okay, right, what is this document that's coming in? Has the document been manipulated in any way, right? So you typically see a document that's come from a particular location. It may come on a particular time, a particular date. If something comes through and maybe even the last service field of that is a Photoshop document as opposed to it being a PDF, we can highlight that as potential risk. We can match and understand things like the business data. So looking at things like IBAN numbers, have they changed ever so slightly? When was the last time we received an invoice from this persona? So all of that sort of stuff comes in. The reality of fraud is often AI isn't always the single value of fraud detection. It's matching against company data. So the way Rosum works is obviously always linking back to the customer's master data to make sure that the document that you're seeing is always matching to the data that a customer has on file. And that becomes also really important for a lot of our customers.
And yeah, we've been working, Max and our team in the quality program have been working to highlight the value of, and with Susan at the conference, highlighting the value of clean data. I mean, it's only as good as what's in the system, right? So if there's multiple entries for company logs that, you know, LTD, LIM, ITD, you know, different entities that could be fraudulent or just mistakes by procurement or operations personnel, they obviously play a factor, don't they? You can only do what you can do. But having the computing power to do at scale what is physically impossible for a human to do, even if they had all the hours and the unlimited resource, you just couldn't do it to the same degree, could you? Which is why I'm guessing AI it's certainly here to stay. We need not be afraid of it. It is it's all about improving outcomes, isn't it? Ultimately.
Yeah, and I think traditionally the biggest use of AI has always been for, and everybody talks about it from a point of data extraction, and that's where most AI is currently used today. The latest Rosum Aurora launch is really now leveraging AI to go a little bit further. So our AI technology is now looking at splitting and sorting documents, both on a split basis. So a lot of our customers receive maybe multiple POs or multiple invoices attached to a single PDF. That again is a really manual, time-consuming process to be able to look at all of those individually, split them out, sort into the right areas, whether it be the company codes, whether it be GL, whatever else it might be. Our AI is now being used to do all of that manually to really relieve the most time-consuming jobs for our current customers and fundamentally the AP teams that are using us. We've also re-released our AI on like line item extraction. So a lot of the content of the invoices and POs that people receive, the majority of AP teams right now, because as you just said there, Mike, the time taken to go through a document, extract the relevant information, they typically sit at header and field level. But what our technology is now really focused on doing, and the new AI has become incredibly good at, is pulling out all of that line item level data. So not just even first line item, right? Complex tables that exist within the line items, being able to extract that data, which I think is incredibly important, but then use the data that we're capturing, not only to support your downstream systems and make sure that POs match and everything else alongside that, but also then providing valuable insights off the back of that data within the Rosum system. So spend analytics to enable improved decision making. And I think that's where it gets really clever. And then our final use of AI, and this really goes back to what you were talking about there, which is the time-consuming nature of the AP process, is actually now we've implemented ChatGPT within our email communication tool. So rather than you seeing an error and that error then needing to be, right, we've seen a problem here, I now need to go and respond to my customer, within the platform, Rosum can either automate responses, which is, I think, incredibly helpful for a lot of these teams. So it even removes the fact that teams need to respond or even think about responding if a PO doesn't match or there's incorrect data, Rosum can automate that. But actually, if there is something that you need to respond to a customer on a one-to-one level, we can now use the AI within Rosum's tool to generate an email for you. So it really is as simple as saying, I need to respond to a supplier or a customer, whatever else it may be. I can click on generate, and Rosum's technology will generate that email for you. So again, really minimizing the manual process of having to go through these laborious, time-consuming tasks that I think, if you ask a lot of your members, are probably unnecessary and certainly things that can be improved on a day-to-day basis.
Well, any one of our members, and they all work incredibly hard, as you know, but any one of our members will tell you that they would much rather be doing higher value tasks than shuffling even just basic comms back and forth with suppliers. And given the size of the supply chain in many of our many of our members, they just haven't got the resource to contact 30,000 suppliers or 15,000 suppliers every month. It's just not going to happen. No, I'm incredibly excited to get my eyes on how this works. I'd love to see it in action. I mean, I guess the seeing is believing, isn't it? So, I mean, if you're watching this and you're in a situation where you're thinking, a lot of this is making sense to me, and I'd like to get involved a bit further. What's the process? Do people? I know you've got a webinar coming up, I think, with the launch and how it all works. How do they get involved?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways they can get involved. I think when they'll be watching this, the official Aurora launch will have already gone live. There'll be replays of the webinar that they can come onto the website and give it a watch. They can request the demo on our site, or they can just use our contact form to find out more. There's a ton of different ways. Of course, people are more than happy for people to reach out to me in any way, shape or form. Would love to open up those conversations. But yeah, there's a ton. And what we're planning on doing for the rest of this year is continuing. So one of the biggest things that we've done before this launch is we've spent a lot of time with our customers. So we've been rolling out, obviously, the launch in the background to look at our customers, to look at the uplift. I think the data that we're getting now is about a 37% uplift on accuracy of information that we're gathering on even our most complex customers, which I think is a huge step forward. So customers for ours that were at 90% accuracy are now moving forward to 93, 94% accuracy, which again is just really those marginal gains at that level of accuracy make a huge difference to our customers. But further for there, we're going to have a series of different webinars and content that's coming out around the success that some of our customers have seen with the new Aurora platform.
Well, I remember I'm sure it was us discussing, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were talking about sectors like construction, huge numbers, huge projects, relatively small margins, and actually the marginal benefit of even very small improvements in the workflows and the way businesses operate can contribute significantly to EBITDA and overall company performance. So if you're watching this and you want to improve your bottom line, I think you might want to be giving Zach a call at some point. But listen, we're going to wrap it up there. I know you guys are very busy this year. You've got loads going on. You'll be out and about with our team. I think you'll be at several of our events this year. We very much look forward to seeing you, and thank you as ever for your support.
Thank you.
So there we go.